96 Ford E350 with a 7.3 turbo diesel. As you can see, she had a former life as an ambulance, straight out of Ford. She had a Quigley 4x4 conversion done before she was made into an ambulance. We got her in October of 2021 from a small fire department in southern Missouri, and have been working to convert her ever since into our little off-road home. So done quite a bit of work, and we'll walk around and kind of show you some of the modifications we've made. At the front. So we ended up going with a buck stop bumper. Not a ton of options out there for E350 bumpers. Buck stop's got a great name. Not real happy with the quality control on the welds. Ended up losing a light tab that broke off the main bumper. When we looked at it, it was just kind of very poor weld, more or less holding on by paint. So buck stock, if you're watching, try to get that taken care of. Otherwise, heavy duty bumper. Still haven't gotten quite to the point of putting in winches. Running hella lights up front, both the amber and the solid. Engine wise, we got the Power Stroke 7.3 turbo diesel. Super reliable engine, great history on it. We have done a couple modifications. Tina, as you see her right now, is heavy. Tina sitting right around, fully loaded with us in it, about 12,200 pounds. So quite a bit to haul around. Like I said, 7.3, this is a 95, or technically a 95 and a half of the Power Stroke. So we've done a little bit of work to the engine. We've done a stage 1 upgrade on the injectors. We've done a turbo rebuild with a Wicked Wheel, KC Turbos, local company here in Apache Junction, as well as new up pipes, small modifications like that just to get rid of any kind of turbo or boost leaks. Made a huge difference. We also have a PHP tuner in there, running one of the hybrid tuners. Made a huge difference for kind of everyday driving, getting up and down the mountains. So big difference. Up front, we also went with more modern telescopic side mirrors. You won't find these standard for a 95 or anything below a 98 on the E350. Just have to do some modifications and make it work yourself. Tire wise and suspension, this does have the Quigley 4x4 conversion. That gave it overall roughly 3.5 to a 4-inch lift. We have swapped out and gone with the super spring coils. I believe they're the 880s, heavy duties, with the Power Stroke 7.3. That is a heavy engine.
Hard to get in there.
One of the big things that comes up as far as tires and wheels is whether or not you stick with the dualies in the rear or you go with singles all around. We wanted the dualies for the load distribution, the weight distribution, the stability, but we did want a little bit wider front tire. So we ended up going with converting over to new hubs up front, the single rear wheel hubs, and going with a slightly larger tire. So we're running 33s all around, or technically up front what we're running is a 295/70 R17. So it's a 17-inch wheel with a 33-inch tire, a little over 33s. But overall diameter matches what we have in the back, which are running 255/85 16s on the original steel wheels. And you can see we also run about a 1/4-inch spacer. Try to get a view from the back. But this more than easily carries our load and still allows us to run at a slightly, well, right now we're running at roughly about 50 pounds of air pressure in the back tires and about 47 up front. So we get a little bit of extra absorption when we're going off-road. We have the ability to air down a bit, which you don't if you're kind of sticking with the standard solid tires. We ended up going with new leafs in the rear. The rears were say it was a 7 or 9, I gotta count the leaves, but for extra stability we ended up adding some additional airbags in the back to give a little bit more ride stability, and we're also occasionally towing a trailer. So we do have the 2 ports for balancing out the airbags, typically run at about 60 psi. Storage wise, one of the absolute reasons outside of the durability of going with an ambulance is storage. So absolute ton of storage on this. Inside the compartment here behind the drivers used to be where they store the oxygen. We now have our outdoor shower. We carry a propane tank in here specifically just for the outdoor shower and for our outdoor fire pit. Basically, our outdoor shower ties into our fresh line hose, which also feeds right into where we have our super simplified freshwater, gray water storage system, along with our diesel heater. So with our configuration right here, each one of these is 7 gallons. We typically run with 28 gallons or 4 of these for fresh water. One is a dedicated gray water tank that drains off, and then we basically just move and adjust and drain as necessary. Got the diesel, Chinese diesel heater over here, which has actually worked fantastic, as opposed to what I've heard about the Webasto ones having to be dialed in and tuned. But that all basically ties in. We can have our fresh line going to here. We keep our shower hose assembly here, so we can tie it all on, turn it on, and we got outdoor shower action. Moving over here, everybody's favorite box, the tool compartment with a little easily accessible outdoor light, because you never know when you need to get to extra tools. Tons of space for tool storage. And here as well, I keep some extra tools. It is a 27-year-old diesel, so it's always good to have some extra tools. Always good to have some extra essential parts. This also serves as our storage for our outdoor fire pit, as well as our barbecue. And we also keep an air compressor in here. It's in a different truck right now. It's just a small air compressor for airing up and airing down.
So you got some super bright LEDs up there too, huh?
Yeah, both sides. We pulled off the scene lights, made some aluminum covers. Everything's been recoated with the bedliner product. We could post the product details for everything that we used. But basically we did like 2 different tones of the same product. And then we have some super bright LEDs. I believe that were where these were from.
Super bright LEDs.
Yeah, they're so bright it's on the list to add a dimmer inside, because it could be a little overpowering. Coming around the back, we kept these 2 scene lights, which are activated. These actually tie into the rear lights, the backup lights, or the reverse lights. These are tied into our brake lights, so that's all fully functional. And then we have 2 additional small LED light bars for just additional light in the back. Whoops, a little dusty. This will show you our homemade bug screen. Kelly did a fantastic job. So we got separate uppers and lowers.
Here, you could pull open the other side. Yeah, so these are removable. They're just like screen netting that you put on for windows. And then we lined them with a tubing to make them a little stronger, and then they just snap on and off when you need to get in or out with some little button snaps. And that's just to keep the dogs in, and then obviously bugs, because some places are buggy.
And then the board you see behind Kelly's head right here, that's the separation. The upper part is our bed, and the lower part is what a lot of people call trunk space. We just call it extra storage space behind the dogs' beds.
Yeah, we still have a couple things we need to figure something out for, but they're good enough for now. We don't even see them anyway.
So in the back, we also have a backup camera that's tied into a overlay on our rear view mirror, since the rear view mirror is kind of useless in an ambulance since you can't see all the way through. So that's all just a display screen. We'll show you up front when we get there. Rear bumper wise, we've removed the fold up addition step that's on here right now because we've been doing some towing. So long-term plan, custom bumper with the swing away tire rack, so we carry a spare for the front since
So on this side, this is the main side where we hang out. Obviously, our front door is right here. This cabinet wasn't really useful initially anyway, but this is all built-in cabinetry, so that's not exterior storage. We did buy some steps initially with a stabilizer, but we didn't like how far down it was gonna hang, so we just kind of went with this guy. It's adjustable in height, it's reflective, it's got grip for the dogs, so that works actually a lot better. And then we ended up going with a 10-foot Thule awning. I think that's how you say it. We were gonna go with a 12, but at the time, you know, how the 2021 was going on from 2020, and we couldn't get our hands on one, so Craig ended up driving to Vegas and actually picked this guy up for a lot less than we would have paid initially. We have a little outlet here Craig put in for some power, and then we also have the super bright LEDs over here as well. And then we also have, it's down right now, but we have the WeBoost antenna. It's got like the spring to put it up or down because it does stick out very high. And then here we have another storage compartment. This is our main storage compartment. So we have a telescoping ladder, we have 2 chairs, we have our camp rug, we have a little end table, we have a skinny folding table, and then we have the tool to release the awning, among other things. Alright, now let's check out the inside. This door is still a work in progress. We just kind of used a little bit of materials we had to spruce it up a little bit. The main thing was just to add on some extra storage for dog leashes or whatever. Here we did the same as the back doors. We made some custom bug screens / dog doors. There's just a marine grade zipper on it. Alright, so as you walk in, this is our kitchen. We just did a single burner induction cooktop that we could actually take out in and out if we need to. You can just lift it right out. We just did a small little sink. It was same price for this cool copper hammered sink, so we did that. We just did a little hand pump, and then we also put in a little bit of shelving. We put in a little bit of shelving above the cooktop, and then this over here, this is a shelf, and this is a shelf over here with some bungees. So I'm gonna leave this up for the video, but we also made some homemade, they're Reflectix with the same tubing on it, and then some ripstop fabric. This way it looks nice on the inside when we want it this way, for black, or if we were doing some Walmart camping like we used to do back in the day, you can put that on the outside so it looks a little less noticeable. Not that Tina doesn't stick out, and you can tell. And we built in some cabinetry over here. This holds our, these get a little finicky. Some of these need to be readjusted after the last trip. But just some extra storage, and then we have our WeBoost in here. And then down here, yeah, just more kitchen storage.
Nice.
We also left this, you can back it up. We also left this, which goes out to the hot water heater in case we needed to, like, wash the dogs in here, take a bath in here. I have my ways. We don't really need it for the kitchen sink because we're just fine. I use this kettle, this gooseneck kettle, to do lots of different things. But this, I can just heat up water and use that, and then I can conserve water a lot better. Lots of tips and tricks. Maybe that's another video. We actually initially took out, this is the AC and heater coming off of the truck for the box back here. We actually took that out, but we ended up putting it back in, and we're glad we did, for when we're driving.
Try to decide whether or not you're going to keep it before you remove it. It's much easier.
And then we just put a little shelf under here. These little bins from Target have come in handy on lots of levels. We rebuilt this kind of last minute so that we could have our fridge come out and fit in here a little bit more snug. It's just an IceCo. It's the dual zone. I'm sure you know what's up with that. We usually keep this side as a cooler or a freezer and this side as a refrigerator. We love the IceCo so far. We've used it even outside of Tina. But it has these nice baskets, so it's easy to load. And then I bought this one. It's another Target little basket that fits in here, so we kind of have dual layers. This also, we use it as a little extra table, or you can sit on it. And then Craig kind of cut these down. These are cool. These are from the original Ambulance. But it opens up and then slides. That was cool. And then, yeah, just put in some more cabinets down here. This one's a little finicky lately since the last trip.
Love it.
There we go. But yeah, tons of storage. It goes down here, so little block. We reuse these from the previous Ambulance too, to keep everything snug. But these help make things not slide around. Just use everything in bins, so it's easier in the Phoenix summer. We have to park Tina outside, so I can just pull these bins in and out to get everything out. All right, moving over here, this is where the original jump seat was, the bench seat was in the Ambulance. We kept part of this seat, and there's still storage under here. So this is kind of the setup we came up with for dining in case it's like a rainy day or whatever. We got a legume table that can come up here. We can use it in the bed or here, and then it swivels around, and then we use this because I don't know what the height is in here. I'm only 5'4", but Craig is 6'3", so
5'10", 5'11".
He has to bend over a little bit. So my suggestion was we were using one of these in her when we were working on her. So I got a nicer one, and we use this as an extra seat, or Craig can shift around when he's brushing his teeth or whatever. But that's one seat, and another seat for when we have our table set up. I also forgot to mention, this is the original little extra seat over here. Jump seat, I think they were called. So we just put in 2 extra drawers there for the kitchen, which have a lot of storage. We also kept, this is, I think, the only thing in here that's like original, because we think they're cool. They have movable shelves that lock into place, and we put our clothes up here typically, and it's cool that you can see through them. This, Craig reused some of the Ambulance lights because we like those nice little Ambulance touches. So yeah, just these are some of the inside lights and different exterior lights. Switch for a heater, power station, and then dimmer switch for these lights. Ooh. All right, so over here we have the bed set up. We went with a queen mattress. It's just notched out in the back corner there because of the exterior cabinet a little bit, but I'm only 5'4", so that doesn't really matter. But we went with this setup so that this bottom space was a little bit more versatile. Typically, we have the 2 dog beds, and then we have 4 of the black Home Depot bins. I think they're the 14-gallon bins in the back for extra storage. And then there's also extra room in the middle. Got a little fan down here for the dogs. We also have a twin foam camping mattress in case we had somebody else with us, or if we need to bring tools, or I don't know, maybe we have bikes, or I don't know. We just wanted it to be multifunctional Ranger. So back here there were some metal brackets that I built that shelf around. We just did some bungee cord because we already had it, and it works really great. It's really easy to put things in and keep them in place. Back here I'll show you. This is the other side of that shelving unit in the kitchen. We can put drinks or whatever there. And then we have our max air fan control and our diesel heater control, as well as we put in 2 reading lights back here. And then our headboard, it's just like a faux leather headboard, and it's got some extra insulation. We redid the insulation throughout with the foam, the rigid foam. And then this, we also did some nooks and crannies with some wool insulation, and this headboard has some extra wool insulation behind it. Another reason why we went with the E350 Ambulance was because we wanted this little pass-through, this full door pass-through. Just for security reasons, or if I was taking Tina out by myself, being a solo female. So we really like having this, and then both of the dogs get to be with us when we are driving around. We move one of the dog beds up here so Kennedy can be a taco or a hot dog is what we call her. We put a couple extra hooks for drying towels up here, because then it's over the flooring, which is a vinyl marine flooring we did throughout. It had one in here before, but after tearing everything out, it needed to be redone. And then we also did put some hooks up here as well above the door in case towels or bathing suits need to drain. We have a little collapsible tub that we can use so they can still dry while we drive. So yeah, this is one of the little dogs areas, and then another one right here. We put a couple extra shelves in here. These are just for extra storage, easy reach while we're up front. And then these are great too, especially because we live in Phoenix. We put these up. We have 2 ceiling fans. So these are like insulation for the ceiling fans. I'll show you in a second. And then down here is where we have our 5-gallon Dometic toilet. And then it just slides out right here. I don't know if I introduced. This is Ranger. Kennedy's down here.
Kinky. Hi.
Good girl. All right, getting to the ceiling, we just went with a 1/4-inch tongue and groove pine. And then we also have 2 max air fans, one over the cooktop area / toilet area sometimes. And then one over the bed so we can pull air in and push air out, and when the heater's on for condensation. And then this was a last minute purchase more so. We ended up putting in AC that we can run off of solar. I'll let Craig tell you about the solar later, but this is the Dometic RTX 2000. It's just for peace of mind with the dogs, and honestly it's come in handy so much. Plus it's white noise for them so that they can relax a little bit better in addition to the fans. But we love this thing. Highly recommend. It was a price tag. It hurt, but I wouldn't go back and do anything different. So yeah, I'll let Craig tell you what this runs off of for solar. And then I'll just show you over here. There's just a couple more things. Put in a couple outlets down here too. And then the battery setup is in here in the inverter. And then we also, since we had a little extra room down here, it's got junk in it, but it's pretty big. It goes under the bed even this way a little bit. It's just a little laundry hamper to keep the stink in here. Not that we get stinky, but the dogs get stinky. And then yeah, it just also utilizes as a shelf. And Ranger loves it.
Okay, so let's talk about electrical. With an ambulance, the electrical can be a nightmare. You have a lot of the original ambulance wiring. We made a decision, and I still stand by it, that we separated the vehicle from the box in the back. So main fuse panel circuitry, it's kind of behind where Kelly's sitting right now. That's all been stripped out. We isolated the vehicle electronics so they're completely separate from the back of the box electronics, which is what we're in right now. So tucked back here behind us, we have 2 SOK batteries, 206 amp hours each. So for a total of 412 amp hours. It's all 12 volt system. We have a 2000 watt Renogy inverter. We are running on the 110 side. We have one outlet here, one outlet in the kitchen, one outlet in the cabinet where the WeBoost is located. There's also a separate plug in that cabinet that feeds up to a block heater. So we could actually tie in and do a block heater on the vehicle for those super cold mornings, all running off the battery bank in the back. And then we have one exterior 110. We do have some USB charging ports tucked up underneath the bed. The fridge is running on a 12 volt cigarette lighter type plug that's back behind the fridge.